Alright, so let's break down the build. Here we go, this is my character, and this really does revolve a lot around the Merciless. So the Merciless is sort of like the key centerpiece to this whole build. If you're not familiar with Merciless, I actually have a full guide on how to unlock this gun, but here she be. But the thing about Merciless is that you don't have to apply a mod to apply bleed damage. It just does apply bleed. That's just what it does. So it's great that you have a weapon that can apply a debuff without actually having to activate anything first. So Bloodline is the mod on this gun. It's kind of like a big heavy shot that can over-penetrate targets, and the more targets it penetrates, the more damage it does to subsequent targets. But it applies bleeding over 20 seconds, and then we're also going to use, this is really crucial, the Twisting Wounds Mutators. The Twisting Wounds Mutator here increases range damage of this weapon by 15% to bleeding targets. Mine is 15% because I've got it leveled up to level 5. Once you get up to level 10, it's going to be even better than that. But the whole idea here is that we're going to make people bleed, and then we're going to make them hurt a lot more because they're bleeding. So Twisting Wounds is crucial to this. If you don't know how to get this, basically you need to go to either the Butcher's Quarter or the Kiln in Lassam. And I was very unlucky. I had to roll those dungeons several, 20 plus times before I would get the proper encounter. But there's a mini boss there that you can beat, and then get this. And I'll do a follow-up video to break that whole process down because it is a bit of a pain. But beyond that, we're going to be using the Ravager's Mark. Increases all damage dealt to bleeding targets by 20%. That's nice. Bonus increases to 30% for targets with 50% or lower health. You can get the Ravager's Mark by killing the Doe in Yesha. If you have the Ravager as your world boss, instead of fighting him, you do what he asks and you kill the Doe instead. We're also going to use the Blood-Tinged Ring. Gain 2 health regeneration per second when within 10 meters of a bleeding entity. We want everybody around us to be bleeding, so that's good. Stone of Malevolence. Elemental damage generates 15% additional mod power. I'm going to show that to you right now. But here's what I'll do. I'll just fire off my mods. Oh, by the way, here, I'll just show it to you here. Over-penetrate these, and boom. See how it did 1,800 damage to this guy and 1,200 to this guy? So it gets stronger the more targets it penetrates. But watch this. Look how my mod power is at 0. Watch the bar on my mod power as I'm shooting this thing. Ready? Ooh. Look at it. I didn't even go through a magazine, and we're already one mag, and we have 2 of our mod shots back and a quarter. And just like that, we can over-penetrate targets yet again. Look at that. Look at that. And then, look at that meter. Fill it right back up. And we've got another shot. You could just go back and forth like that. Isn't that crazy? So with that ring, we're going to be constantly regenerating mod power. Probability Cord increases crit damage by 30%. That's just nice to have in general. The more damage we're doing, we're basically stacking damage buffs to bleeding targets. So we have an increase to damage against bleeding targets, and we have an increase on our crits now. On top of that increase, it's just going to start stacking. Additionally, Timekeeper's Jewel increases the duration of all status effects applied by the wearer. Duration varies per status. So we want them to bleed for longer, especially bosses. Now, I'm also running Alchemist at level 10 because Liquid Courage grants a 25% increase to all damage. I like that. I like that a lot. Plus, I run Challenger because I like CQC stuff. So that is the build. Let me show you what it can do. So against a crowd, like, we're just going to start stacking bleed debuffs on all these people, and they're just going to start bleeding out. Look at all those bleeds. Look at that. Look at those health bars going down. Oh, it's beautiful. Mini bosses? Hey, no problem. I use the mod, and it just blasts this guy's helmet off already. And then almost 2,000 damage. And then look at his health bar as we put the bleed on him. And now we're going to do even additional damage, especially crit damage. It's beautiful. And we're just constantly refreshing that bleed, too, as we're shooting him. And he's dead. He's just dead. Or how about this? You see that little elite, like the Yeti back there? Look at him. They're ready to see him get shredded. He's like, hey, what was that about? Oh, man. And then we're doing, 284, 279, and he's just gonna bleed out. It's beautiful! I'm telling you guys, this bleed build it's nasty. It's just nasty. It just shreds people. Look at that. Look at it. Just bleeding. He dead. He gone. Apply bleed to Gwendol, the unburnt, and it's just gonna constantly be chunking her health down. Just look at that. Those numbers are just gonna be constantly going because we have longer duration on the bleed, and we can refresh it just by starting to shoot her again. And that's just right back up to 20 seconds. And look at that health bar just plummet. It's just plummeting. She's just bleeding out so fast. Look at that. Oh, I just love it. It's like an audio bug with that ability, by the way. It does the I'm dying sound, but it's your alchemist ability kicking in. It doesn't make any sense. But there you go. That's the bleed build, baby, and it's just so fun. It's so fun. It's hard for me to find a build that I enjoy more than my standard shotgun approach that I do, which is what I'm using in like all of my boss guides, save for one so far. I'm just using the shotgun, and this, I'm hooked on it. I'm hooked on it. I'm gonna continue to play with this build for a while. And maybe see if I can even, well, I want to max everything on it out as well. I mean, I've got the Merciless maxed out at 10, but I want to get the Twisting Wounds all the way maxed out as well. I just need to get some Corrupted Simulacrum, which is a bit of a pain. So there you have it. Hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully you take this thing for a spin and let me know what you think about it too. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.